Big hello to all you music lovers out there, and welcome to Vinyl Grooves, part of the Human Connection video vlog series where I show you some of my favourite records and the influences behind the music that I create. And the first artist we're doing today is none other than the king of rock and roll, Mr Elvis Presley. So the first vinyl record I've got in my vinyl collection of Elvis is this one here. The earliest release of this record was in 1956. It's a rare collectibles item that has a red sticker up the top. And then there were later releases between 1962 and 1977. One of my most treasured albums from this one was because it's been passed down by my dad, and he was a huge Elvis fan, loved Elvis. And I remember in 1977, I was only 8 years old, and the news came on the radio that Elvis had died, and that had a profound effect on me as a child, how an artist can affect a fan. Moving on to the next record I've got in my vinyl collection. This one was called Elvis Years Back. First released in 1960 with RCA. Elvis's fourth studio album, which marked his return to recording after being discharged from the army, of which he did a 2-year military service in Germany. So there you go. So another classic record in my collection. This one's the Elvis Sun Sessions, first released in 1976, and it has one of my favourite songs that I like to go busking with, That's All Right Mama, which was one of his first recordings. So one of my other favourites. So moving on from the Elvis Sun Sessions, this one's from Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee, and came out in 1976. There he is in his jumpsuit at the peak and height of his career. Elvis, Welcome to My World, very special record I have in my collection. It reminds me of the days where I was drumming along and singing along to Elvis, which is a lot of where I get my voice and inspiration from, trying to be and trying to sing like Elvis. It's where I pretty much got my voice from. And that's where sometimes you might hear grovel every now and then in some of my original tracks. So this was a very special album to me. It's got Welcome to My World, Help Me Make It Through the Night, Release Me, some really, really classic, powerful tracks. The legendary magic of Elvis Presley. Now this one came out in 1980. So in the 1980s, I was working as a part-time sales assistant in a music shop, and I would spend a lot of money every paycheck on buying records, so this is one of those. On the back it's actually got a great few little stories, and it says, "No man ever touched so many people with a positive and meaningful reaction as did Elvis Presley." He had a big impact, and still does today, on many people and artists alike. Great album, The Legendary Magic of Elvis Presley. Heading off into the movie side of Elvis Presley. Now, me personally, I didn't like Elvis's movies. I just thought they were a little bit cheesy. And when you look into it, Elvis didn't like a lot of his movies either. He didn't have a lot of control over script, and he also didn't have control of what songs were being used in the movies. So he sort of got roped into a lot of that sort of thing. This one here was released in 1981, and from an artist's point of view, it's just as important today as it was then, is to try and keep the control over your music direction and where you want to go. I think that's really important to an artist. So All the best of Elvis. Certainly one of my favourite albums. I think it's another one of those albums I bought when I was in the record shop. 1982 brings back memories. Great thing about this album that I loved about it so much was when you opened it up, you really got an insight into the artist with the story, some of his memories, which you actually don't get with streaming anymore, and you don't really get it with CDs either. You get your booklet, but it's not the same when it's this big and you open it up. It's just, it really does give the experience of owning a vinyl record. So that's one of my favourites. All the best, Elvis. So moving on now, this one is I Was the One by Elvis. As you can see, it's quite colourful, and the artwork is quite intriguing. This one came out back in 1983. Very interesting. We've got rocker Elvis, obviously focusing more on his older classics like Jailhouse Rock and Blue Suede Shoes and Tutti Frutti. Yeah, so focusing a lot on the older ones. This one was released out in 1984. So the very last album I'm going to show you is my ultimate favourite vinyl Elvis record, Moody Blue. And what a classic album this is, 1977. One of my favourite albums of all time. Songs like Unchained Melody, If You Love Me, Little Darling, Way Down, Pledging My Love, and many more. What I loved about this album was that when you hear Elvis sing, it's almost like he's got this operatic voice that's just really powerful, and I absolutely love it. Another thing I loved about the album was that when I bought it and we took it out to play, it's got blue vinyl, Moody Blue. What a great thing to do. So they say blue vinyl doesn't sound as good when you put it on the play, but to tell you the truth, I totally disagree. It's just as good as any other album. It's just a very good novelty thing to have, blue vinyl. So I'm going to sing you a song now. This one's called Can't Help Falling in Love. Very special song that I used to perform in aged care centres, and they really enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoy it too. Oh, where's my pick? Here. Wise men say only fools rush in, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Vinyl Grooves, and if you'd like to be part of my music journey, please hit the links below where you'll hear new music first and a whole lot more. So remember, until next time, be good to each other, be kind. We're only here for a short time. Bye for now.